After the scandal of the Downing Street quiz, another photo has emerged of Tories partying last Christmas despite COVID restrictions. And this time it has claimed a resignation. Failed Tory London mayoral candidate Shaun Bailey has quit his role on the London Assembly. This is the image he was spotted in. It was published by The Mirror and it was taken on the 14th of December last year. It shows Shaun Bailey standing in the white shirt. You can see that in the centre of the photo. Back then, London was under Tier 2 restrictions, which meant no household mixing. But Shaun Bailey was busy mixing it up with 22 staffers all crammed together for a catered party with wine and a buffet. It was at the Westminster HQ of the Tory party. Also in attendance was billionaire Tory donor and alleged tax haven aficionado Nick Candy. That's Candy on Bailey's right in the grey jacket. 6 days after flouting the rules, Shaun Bailey tweeted this piece of faux solidarity with Londoners suffering under the restrictions. Tier 4 is tough on every Londoner. My family has had to cancel plans and I'm sure yours has too. It's also tough on the businesses that have had to close yet again. I'll be doing what I can to secure more support for London's businesses and help them through this difficult time. Pretty embarrassing for the Conservatives as a whole. Here was Transport Secretary Grant Shapps this morning.
Utterly disgraceful. I've just told you about how I couldn't see my own dad for 4 months. I wasn't sure I'd see him again. To see that picture makes me really, really angry.
Dahlia, I want to bring you in on this. The Tories are saying this makes them very, very angry, even though, so many of their number now have been found to have done this kind of thing. Presumably a lot of them knew. I mean, how does this outrage compare to the other ones? This picture of Shaun Bailey, is it different from the other controversies we've seen, or more of the same? Does this change the story in any way?
I mean, no, it's not any different. Shaun Bailey is just, for whatever reason, very expendable or considered expendable, which is a shame for him because he has been clowning himself for years for the Tory party, only for them to shaft him like this, even though he actually did pretty well in the mayoral elections, given, that I don't think the Tory party really gave him many resources or backed him. So it's quite amusing, really, to watch them just be like, no, we really don't care about you. I have my suspicions as to why that might be, but it's classically just throwing someone under the bus because they feel able to, because he feels expendable. He clearly didn't do enough good networking to kind of get his loyalty entrenched in the party. But it's not any different from what happened in 10 Downing Street. It's not any different from the party that Allegra Stratton was laughing about. It's not any different from what I'm sure a lot of ministers have been doing. But the thing that really, even worse than the photo itself, knowing what we were all going through when that happened, for me, the fake earnest tweet of being like, oh, me and my family have had to cancel plans. I'm just one of you guys. Meanwhile, that he was just up to this a few days ago. Like, that's actually the bit that I find it makes me sick in my mouth. It's horrible. And it just, every time I read a tweet like that now from a minister, and to be honest, I've always just sort of been like, looked at it a little bit sideways because it just seems so rehearsed and like such a template thing to say. But it's just so gross to look at. It's so gross to watch.
Shaun Bailey has since apologised. So he's put up the following tweet thread. I want to apologise unreservedly for attending a gathering held by some of my staff, so he's throwing people under the bus as well, in my campaign office last December. I gave a speech to my team to thank them for their efforts before leaving shortly afterwards. It was a serious error of judgment at a time when Londoners were making immense sacrifices to keep us all safe, and I regret it wholeheartedly. Unfortunately for Shaun Bailey, we've seen the picture. Lots of the food was already eaten. People had been there for a while, Shaun, hadn't they? The evidence is for all of us to see. However long Shaun Bailey stayed at that party, I don't think anyone should be, I'm not sure anyone will be either, too sad to see him go. You may remember that he's the candidate who gave us such gems as this in 2010. So it said teenage girls might not get pregnant just to get a flat, but they are a lot less careful because they know they will be looked after on benefits. So people who are trying to do the right thing get pushed down the housing ladder, but nobody in our PC world will talk about it. Wow. So I mean, I suppose he's trying to say, look, I'm not saying people get pregnant to get council housing. I'm just saying they'll be more likely to because they know we'll look after them afterwards. During the mayoral election, when asked whether a homeless family in a B&B accommodation could really be expected to save £5,000 for a deposit on a flat, Bailey said the following: "I don't think the £5,000 will be a problem. The mortgage application thing might be a bit tougher. They could save for it, yeah." Wow. Dahlia, Shaun Bailey, will we miss him? Will you miss him?
Just clowning for years. And for what? To be thrown under the bus because of a beige-looking spread? Devastating for him.